All right, guys, the time is now. The wait is over. NASCAR is back for technically the first race of the 2025 season at Bowman Gray. I know a lot of you, just like me, have been waiting for this exact moment since the checkered flag waved at Phoenix. NASCAR is back, and the paint scheme reviews are back. We got paint schemes to review. Let's go. Now, before I get too deep into my bag of tricks here, I just have to start the video off by saying that this year I'm starting with a clean slate. All bias and all grudges are gone. There will be no automatic 10s and no automatic 0s because we're starting off 2025 fresh. Now, with that being said, I do not have the patience to deal with what I had to deal with today. Because when NASCAR posted the paint schemes to NASCAR.com, there was more than 20 cars missing from the list. A lot of them did eventually make their way onto NASCAR.com, but there are a lot of paint schemes in this video that I had to go searching for. Since this is a non-points race, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I will grade them all fairly, but none of them will be eligible for the Big Baby Scumbag Paint Scheme of the Week. But their scores will count towards the season standings. Anyway, starting us off as usual is Ross the Boss. I can't figure out if Trackhouse just couldn't find a sponsor for the Clash, or if they really wanted to look like those Nike Elite socks everyone was wearing in 7th grade. Either way, 6. As you can see, Austin Syndrome is our first offender of not having his paint scheme on NASCAR.com. But I will say they did just release this stunningly bland paint scheme today. Syndrome was rocking a pretty badass mustache this offseason, but just like usual, he went and fucked it all up. 5. This car is basically identical to the one that Austin Dillon tried to attempt vehicular manslaughter with at Richmond. They better have a therapist on top of the Denny Hamlin pit box just in case he gets PTSD this weekend. Kinda fucks though. 9. A truly unfortunate thing happened in Noah Gragson's career today. Not quite as bad as that time he got caught liking that meme on Instagram, but it's pretty close. You see, Noah was probably going to be the front runner for the Big Baby Scumbag Paint Scheme of the Week, but his team completely fumbled the bag and didn't put his paint scheme on NASCAR.com. I think Front Row probably forgot that they're a 3-car team this year because they did get Todd Gilliland's and Zane Smith's on the website. Sorry, Noah. 10. Say what you guys want, but just like I told you all year last year, this paint scheme is iconic in NASCAR history. Glaze on. 10. King's Hawaiian left Brad Keselowski and RFK for Denny Hamlin this offseason, but let's look at the bright side, Brad. You don't have to choke down those awful pretzel bites anymore. 10. Spire really has the chance to become my #1 Cup team in 2025. They started off on the right foot when Ryan Sparks came up to me at Homestead, but they're keeping the train moving with some pretty solid paint schemes so far. Pair that with a driver lineup that's actually pretty fucking killer. Spire's on the come up. The only problem? Someone forgot to put the paint schemes on NASCAR.com. What the fuck? The worst part is that I actually like this. Do better at the 500 or I'm calling Ryan. 8. Everybody got their panties wet when Taylor Kitchen posted a picture interviewing Kyle Busch the other day, and in the background you could see a little teaser of maybe a new zone paint scheme. Well, everybody got blue-balled because we still got this pile of shit. 3. Speaking of pile of shit, here's Chase Elliott. I cannot believe there's a group of people out there that actually think this is a good paint scheme. My cat just walked in the room and threw up at the sight of this. That little jingle was her shaking uncontrollably from how terrible this car is. 1. Ty Dillon's back full-time in the Cup Series again. Hey, maybe this time it'll work out for him, but I highly doubt it because he's shown absolutely zero talent in any car he's ever gotten into. And what is C-Best? Well, I don't really care. 8. Congratulations, Denny. You're about to become a father for the 3rd time, and you lost almost all your sponsorship. Pair that with the ongoing court deal with 2311, and I'm sure you're going to have a great year. 6. Ryan Blaney got married and was spending almost the entire offseason with Sydney Sweeney. This guy fucks. The car? Almost. 9. Charlie Brown's brother Tim Brown is making his first ever Cup Series start at the Clash, And he happens to be pretty good at Bowman Gray. Hopefully we see this car up front because honestly, it kind of fucks. 10. I tried to tell you guys last year to please get rid of the clip art child on the quarter panel. You clearly didn't listen. 4. Mr. Busher. It's like riding a bike. But what did they do to my boy? You have a white hood with a green side with red trim. What is this supposed to be, a shitty Christmas paint scheme? I'm sorry, RFK. I cannot support this. 4. There is now one race left in Martin Truex's Cup Series career, and it doesn't come in this car because it's now Chase Briscoe's. And for whatever reason, Bass Pro decided to sponsor Chase Briscoe for every single race of 2025. Now, what does that say about Martin Truex? Briscoe in the 19 is going to take a lot to get used to, but I like it. 10. They took everything great about the 2024 version of this paint scheme, brought it out behind the woodshed, and killed it. The white number does not work. 8. We're getting a little throwback action from Josh Berry and Wood Brothers for the very first race of the season. Josh could be a dark horse to win this weekend. 8. Joey Logano said in an interview with Bob Pockrass that he can't hear people bitching about his championships because the trophies, they echo around him, which honestly is kind of an iconic thing to say. 6. Since Denny lost all of his sponsorship this offseason, he decided that all of his cars also needed to look completely fucking empty. 5. Don't let the offseason distract you from the fact that Willie B fumbled the bag. 8. This is going to take some getting used to, but Todd Gilliland is in the 34 now. And somehow, Long John Silver's found enough spare change laying around the floor of their restaurants to sponsor a car again. Wow. 5. Riley Herbst is full-time in the Cup Series this year to complete a trilogy of Monster Energy drivers. At this point, can we just put them all on the same fucking team, please? 6. Zane Smith is back home to the place where he had the prime of his young NASCAR career, and this paint scheme reminds me of it. Zane, I hope you're ready to make me a shit ton of money in 2025. 6. I really didn't think that this was possible, but Ryan Preece and Stuart Haas Racing are both now gone, and somehow this car got even sexier. I have no words. I'm just amazed. 10. I really thought that John Hunter Nemechek and Legacy Motor Club were starting off 2025 on the wrong foot yet again. But then I logged back on to NASCAR.com and the paint schemes were there. The year is fresh. The slate is clean. It's time to be honest. John Hunter Nemechek is a pretty cool guy. Legacy Motor Club went through a slight rebrand during the offseason, but if you can notice the difference, you're probably a wizard. Which brings me back to John Hunter Nemechek. He's about the same height as Dobby the Elf from Harry Potter. This car gives Dollar Tree Harry Gant vibes. Pun absolutely intended. 7. And this car is just completely abysmal. 3. Michael Jordan is worth $3.5 billion, and they couldn't hire a designer to come up with something better than a nude Jordan car. This is an early contender for the worst paint scheme of the year. 0. JTG Daughtry Racing is no longer. It's now Hayek Motorsports. And without Kroger sponsorship, this car, just like the Hayek Tua girl, are now completely irrelevant. 9. Li! It is an absolute shame what they did to this car. And every time I forgot how bad it was, Li Racing posted it on Twitter again. Everyone's begging. Please, just go back to last year's design. 6. Burt Myers is racing this terribly ugly car, not to be confused with the actor of Shrek, Mike Myers. 2. I'm going to continue to pretend that Cody Ware doesn't exist on this planet and instead bitch about Corey LaJoie. If you didn't see Corey LaJoie's interview the other day, let me sum it up real quick for you. He's a prick. Not only that, but I was also made aware today that he did a little paint scheme review on his podcast. Leave the paint scheme reviews to the big boys, okay? Instead of worrying about how many people are in the grandstands at a truck race, maybe you should worry about how you're going to be unemployed next year. 3. Ty Gibbs is never going to win a race. 6. Thank God Ryan Preece is still in the Cup Series. And guys, I can guarantee you one thing. He's winning the Daytona 500. And this car fucks. 10. And hey, thanks for letting my buddy Luke Baldwin run some of your race cars this year. Garrett Smithley, the future GOAT of SS Greenlight, is making an appearance at the Clash. I just wish the car looked a little better. 6. Move out Zane Smith. Hello, Michael McDowell. I think Spire took my advice because this is a killer paint scheme. 10. This, on the other hand, I could do without the red. But Carson, you have an open invite to get completely trashed with me. And you know what? If that's not your thing, that's cool. We could go race go-karts in a cornfield or some shit. Work on getting some new paint schemes, though. 7. Remember when I compared the Ross Chastain car to a Nike sock? This is the alternate one you get in the 2-pack. 5. Crocodile. I guess this car is supposed to look different than last year's, but I don't really see it. 8. And for the first time in the 2025 season, the big baby scumbag paint scheme of the week goes to...
Money in my face, what? Hoes in my face, what? Pocket full of money, I ain't running out of space. What? Mama said, baby, you done came a long way. Woo. Still eating ramen noodles, bitch, I like the taste. Woo.